A sudden silence hit the earth. If anything, it was worse than the noise. For a while, nothing happened. The great ships hung motionless in the sky over every nation on earth. Motionless they hung, huge, heavy, steady in the sky, a blasphemy against nature. Many people went straight into shock as their minds tried to encompass what they were looking at. The ships hung in the sky in much the same way that bricks don't. And still, nothing happened. Then there was a slight whisper. A sudden spacious whisper of open ambient sound. Every hi-fi in the world, every radio, every television, every cassette recorder, every woofer, every tweeter, every mid-range driver in the world quietly turned itself on. Every tin can, every dustbin, every window, every car, every wine glass, every sheet of rusty metal became activated as an acoustically perfect sounding board. Before the earth passed away, it was going to be treated to the very ultimate in sound reproduction, the greatest public address system ever built. But there was no concert, no music, no fanfare, just a simple message.
People of Earth, your attention please,
a voice said. And it was wonderful. Wonderful, perfect quadraphonic sound with distortion levels so low as to make a brave man weep.
This is Presidency Vogon Jeltz of the Galactic Hyperspace Planning Council,
the voice continued.
As you will no doubt be aware, the plans for development of the outlying regions of the galaxy require the building of a hyperspatial express route through your star system, and regrettably, your planet is one of those scheduled for demolition. The process will take slightly less than 2 of your Earth minutes. Thank you.
The PA died away. Uncomprehending terror settled on the watching people of Earth. The terror moved slowly through the gathered crowds as if they were iron filings on a sheet of board and a magnet was moving beneath them. Panic sprouted again, desperate, fleeting panic, but there was nowhere to flee to. Observing this, the Vogons turned on their PA again. It said,
There's no point in acting all surprised about it. All the planning charts and demolition orders have been on display in your local planning department in Alpha Centauri for 50 of your Earth years, so you've had plenty of time to lodge any formal complaint. It's far too late to start making a fuss about it now.
The PA fell silent again, and its echo drifted across the land. The huge ships turned slowly in the sky with easy power. On the underside of each, a hatchway opened, an empty black square. By this time, somebody somewhere must have manned a radio transmitter, located a wavelength, and broadcast a message back to the Vogon ships to plead on behalf of the planet. Nobody ever heard what they said. They only heard the reply. The PA slammed back into life again. The voice was annoyed. It said,
What do you mean you've never been to Alpha Centauri? For heaven's sake, mankind, it's only 4 light years away. I'm sorry, but if you can't be bothered to take an interest in local affairs, that's your own lookout. Energize the demolition beams.
Light poured down out of the hatchways.
I don't know,
said the voice on the PA.
Apathetic, bloody planet. I've got no sympathy at all.
It cut off. There was a terrible, ghastly silence. There was a terrible, ghastly noise. There was another terribly, ghastly silence. The Vogon constructor fleet coasted away into the inky, starry void. Okay, I have enough time to read one more chapter, I believe. I hope you like that voice. I will not be doing that for Vogon Jeltz anymore. I don't think it hurt my throat, but it was fun. I can read a few more pages. Far away on the opposite spiral arm of the galaxy. Oh, this is chapter 4. Far away on the opposite spiral arm of the galaxy, 500,000 light years from the star Sol, Zaphod Beeblebrox, president of the Imperial Galactic Government, spread across the seas of Damagran, his ion drive delta boat winking and flashing in the Damagran sun. Damagran the hot, Damagran the remote, Damagran the almost totally unheard of. Damagran, secret home of the Heart of Gold. I just realized that I've been putting my book over the microphone, and I really hope it doesn't block the sound. It probably does. We'll find out. Anyway, Damagran, secret home of the Heart of Gold. The boat sped on across the water. It would be some time before it reached its destination, because Damagran is such an inconveniently arranged planet. It consists of nothing but middling to large desert islands separated by very pretty but annoyingly wide stretches of ocean. The boat sped on. Because of this topographical awkwardness, Damagran has always remained a deserted planet. This is why the Imperial Galactic Government chose Damagran for the Heart of Gold project, because it was so deserted and the Heart of Gold project was so secret. The boat zipped and skipped across the sea that lay between the main islands of the only archipelago of any useful size on the whole planet. Zaphod Beeblebrox was on his way from the tiny spaceport on Easter Island. The name was an entirely meaningless coincidence. In galactic speak, Easter means small, flat, and light brown. But he was on his way from the spaceport on Easter Island to the Heart of Gold Island, which, by another meaningless coincidence, was called France. One of the side effects of work on the Heart of Gold was a whole string of pretty meaningless coincidences. But it was not in any way a coincidence that today, the day of culmination of the project, the great day of unveiling, the day that the Heart of Gold was finally to be introduced to a marveling galaxy, was also a great day of culmination for Zaphod Beeblebrox. It was for the sake of this day that he had first decided to run for the presidency, a decision which had sent shock waves of astonishment throughout the Imperial galaxy. Zaphod Beeblebrox? President? Not the Zaphod Beeblebrox. Not the president. Many had seen it as a clinching proof that the whole of known creation had finally gone bananas. Zaphod grinned and gave the boat an extra kick of speed. Zaphod Beeblebrox, adventurer, ex-hippie, good timer, crook? Quite possibly. Manic self-publicist, terribly bad at personal relationships, often thought to be completely out to lunch. President? No one had gone bananas, not in that way at least. Only 6 people in the entire galaxy understood the principle on which the galaxy was governed, and they knew that once Zaphod Beeblebrox had announced his intention to run as president, it was more or less a fait accompli. He was ideal presidency fodder. What they completely failed to understand was why Zaphod was doing it. Give me a moment to explain the footnote. The footnote says, and it's referring to the word ideal presidency fodder. President. Full title, President of the Imperial Galactic Government. The term imperial is kept, though it is now an anachronism. The hereditary emperor is nearly dead and has been for many centuries. In the last moments of his dying coma, he was locked in a stasis field, which keeps him in a state of perpetual unchangingness. All his heirs are now long dead, and this means that without any drastic political upheaval, power has simply and effectively moved a rung or two down the ladder, and is now seen to be vested in a body which used to act simply as advisors to the emperor, an elected governmental assembly headed by a president elected by that assembly. In fact, it vests in no such place. The president, in particular, is very much a figurehead. He wields no real power whatsoever. He is apparently chosen by the government, but the qualities he is required to display are not those of leadership, but those of finely judged outrage. For this reason, the president is always a controversial choice. Always an infuriating, but fascinating character. His job is not to wield power, but to draw attention away from it. On those criteria, Zaphod Beeblebrox is one of the most successful presidents the galaxy has ever had. He has already spent 2 of his 10 presidential years in prison for fraud. Very, very few people realize that the president and the government have virtually no power at all, and of these few people, only 6 know whence ultimate political power is wielded. Most of the others secretly believe that the ultimate decision-making process is handled by a computer. They cannot be more wrong. Anyway. Only 6 people in the entire galaxy understood the principle on which the galaxy was governed, and they knew that once Sapphire Beetle Rocks had announced his intention to run, it was fait accompli. What they failed to understand was why he was doing it.